Once upon a time, in a quiet little town, there lived a boy named Thomas. At the age of 12, he had everything he needed to succeed: a sharp mind, a natural talent for mathematics, and a boundless imagination. Yet, alas, Thomas was lazy and neglected his duties. Every morning he would dawdle in getting up. His mother, exasperated, had to wake him several times. "Thomas, get up. You're going to be late for school again," she would say. But Thomas would only grunt and turn back in his bed. When he eventually got up, he would rush out, often without having breakfast or preparing his belongings properly. At school, Thomas was known as brilliant but unreliable. His teachers despaired of seeing him squander his talents. His math teacher, Mrs. Dupont, often repeated, "Thomas, if only you worked a little, you could achieve wonders." But Thomas would shrug and return to his daydreams. At home, the situation was hardly better. His room looked like a battlefield: clothes scattered everywhere, open notebooks, and forgotten snack remnants on his desk. His parents constantly asked him to tidy up, but he ignored their remarks, preferring to spend his evenings playing video games or drawing fantastical characters. The turning point came when he was assigned a big project in mathematics, something that counted significantly towards his final grade. At first, Thomas ignored it, believing he could finish it in a few hours just before the deadline. As the due date approached, panic set in, and his usual calm demeanor was filled with anxiety. On the last night, overwhelmed by pressure, he stayed up until dawn trying to complete his work, but fell asleep at his desk, exhausted. The next day, his project lay unfinished and crumpled on his desk. Realizing the consequences of his inaction, Thomas finally understood the value of time and commitment. From that day forward, he vowed to change his ways, resolving to plan ahead, prioritize his tasks, and channel his creativity more productively, learning the true lesson of time management that would guide him through his future. One day, an unexpected event disrupted Thomas's routine. At school, a science contest was announced. Each student was to present an innovative project. "This is a chance for you, Thomas," said Mrs. Dupont. "Show us what you can do." At first, Thomas paid no attention. But on his way home that evening, he found an old paper airplane he had once made. This reignited his love for inventions. Despite his usual laziness, he decided to participate in the contest. The first few days were chaotic. Thomas procrastinated, putting everything off for later. However, as the contest date approached, a spark of motivation ignited within him. He began to work seriously, using his talent in mathematics and imagination to design a machine capable of automatically cleaning a room. For several nights, Thomas stayed up late, perfecting his project. His bedroom, ironically, became even messier due to the materials he was using. But for the first time, he was focused and committed. The day of the contest finally arrived. Thomas presented his machine before a panel of teachers and students. To their great surprise, his invention worked flawlessly. Not only did it clean efficiently, but it was also ecological and ingenious. Thomas won first prize. Ms. Dupont, moved by his achievement, said to him, "I knew you could do it, Thomas. But remember, this is just the beginning. Talent alone is not enough. It also takes discipline and hard work." On that day, Thomas learned a valuable lesson. Though he sometimes remained lazy, he began to make efforts to better organize his time and use his talents wisely. His room, still messy from time to time, gradually became a space where he could invent and create freely. Thus, Thomas learned to overcome his laziness and harness his potential, becoming an example for other children in his town.